So in this state, he says, if we don't practice the niyamas, we would be in trouble. So for example, if you're not loyal to your spouse, then you would be in trouble because there will be a consequence to it, right? When you start vitarka, which is wrong knowledge, then wrong results or outcomes are faced. So if you're, say, he gave an example of terrorists. He says they don't believe in democracy. Why follow nonviolence? Would you then in that, when they have that mindset, why should I follow nonviolence? Then they face those types of consequences also, right? Because it is possible that they may get killed or their families may get affected with the nonviolence that they are dealing with. So his advice was to think of the consequence. Then he said, say if you feel, why should I be clean? That wrong understanding of dispassion, is ignorance. If you are not content, you will be frustrated. Those who do not do tapas will remain weak. He gave us an example of school dropouts, because they run away from tapas. Obviously, going to school, staying on track is not very fun, right? But it's sort of your tapas. You want to be able to achieve a bachelor's or a master's or whatever it is that you're enrolled for. Right? Those who do not do tapas will remain weak. He says even swallowing insults is tapas. Not saying anything, if somebody says something bitter to you and not saying anything in return is also considered a form of tapas. Then he said there are 3 ways. Violence could be through you, or you could be supporting it or approving of it, or you are instigating it. That's all violence. So if you're not directly involved with, committing any violence, but if you are somehow involved with it, whether you are supporting it or it's happening through you, or you are instigating it, then you're still part of that violence. Then you're not in, what is that? Ahimsa. You make yourself negative. Karita. One has to be cautious. Some do this in moderation and some are extreme. They have extreme greed, anger, delusion that can make you think incorrectly, wrongly, vitarka. This brings misery. It cannot bring joy. Even if 10 people agree this person is bad, it will still bring you sadness. Sometimes we get in that mindset, right? I'm not the only one who feels this person is bad. There are like 10 other people who feel this person is bad. Like he said, even if you have a party of people that do wrong things or have wrong understanding or are in vitarka, it does not matter. It'll still bring you confusion or sadness. So he said, avoid this. Do not succumb to it. Stay on path of knowledge. That was the end of debate. Then on Sadhana tape 9, he said, when we drop violence, violence ceases to be in our presence. It he gave us an example. Uh, when Guruji was in a meeting, he was giving a lecture somewhere, and this person came to disrupt the meeting. And he forgot, what he was supposed to do. So he ended up just being he ended up participating in it instead of disrupting the meeting. So if you are in complete non-violence, then violence will cease to exist in your presence. He said, Guruji gave that example. He said he suddenly came on his knees and became a volunteer of the organization later. Then he also gave us an example of when Gurudev was going for a Gyat-vas. Gyat-vas is when Gurudev doesn't tell anyone where he's going, only him and the driver knows. Yeah. And so there are not very many people there with him. And there was a log in the way, and there was a lion sitting next to the log. And the driver was actually afraid of getting off the car and removing the log just because of the lion. But, Gurudev told him nothing will happen. And exactly that, the lion just moved away, didn't do anything. And they were able to remove the log and carry on. Then he talked about fear. Fear is within us. When we are established in seer without fear, ahimsa will drop. Others will also lose animosity for you. If you are established in truth, you will succeed. When asteya, what does asteya mean? When you're not stealing anything, you're not eyeing anything. Yeah. When asteya is established, stealing wealth will come to you. Yeah. So when you're in that spirit, in that space where you do not want to steal, you do not eye anything either. Yeah, that is very nice. I would love to have that. You're completely content. Then he says, all the wealth come to you. When you are in brahmacharya, it brings you strength. When you're working with broadened awareness, you get real strength. Aparigraha, or hoarding, whether it is insults also. Yeah, so it's not hoarding of things, but like this person said this to me. If you're hoarding those things in your head, then you will be again miserable. But if you stop hoarding even insults, you regain the memory of previous lifetimes. Brings you purpose to life. So you don't commit the same mistakes. It brings you focus. All right, we are on Sadhana 10 now, where he talks about niyamas, shaucha, cleanliness. Practicing this, you stop craving for others. Are you understanding where he's coming from? Yeah, shaucha meaning cleanliness. You don't even have the craving to hug someone. Yeah, you are in that space of, yeah, I just want to be pure. Yeah, then those cravings drop for you. Clarity in intellect dawns. By shaking hands, you exchange microbes, bacteria. Namaste is the safest, especially in warm climates where you sweat. Also, he was saying when you get in touch with somebody, literally, you sort of exchange the pleasant, whatever they're feeling, you sort of imbibe that also. So when you are in shaucha, then your focus increases. You have say over the senses. Ability to realize the self comes. But this does not apply to family members. Yeah. So don't do this with your family saying, I'm in Shaucha, I'm not going to hug my child, I'm not going to hug my husband. It does not apply to family. Okay. It is for outside of that relationship. Yeah. He also mentioned that when you lose a loved one, yeah, you go through a shaucha. Yeah? You're not, because your mind is very upset, right? You're feeling there's a sense of lack. That's when you're in the sense of a shaucha. Then he went to talk about contentment. Santosha brings unparalleled happiness. So if you may have noticed, tape 9 and 10 talks about the benefits of practicing yama niyama. Yeah. Kayendra Siddhi, body becomes strong when you are in tapas. Yeah. Swadhyaya, self-inquiry. When you are in the spirit of self-inquiry, you feel the vibrations, experience divine being. Now, we've seen that, right? When we are in meditation, we have the glimpses. We feel the vibrations. Ishwar Pranidhana, which means surrender. Let go just like a child in the lap of a mom. Then Samadhi or perfection comes. Sadhana 11. Seer has impact and, I'll read my own handwriting, on scenery, subject and object are dependent. Theory of relativity. You have to remove your doubt. Take an opposite stand and see what are the consequences if not following yama niyamas. Asana is that which is stable and comfortable. We know that, right? Yeah. Steady and enjoyable pose. Sthira sukham asanam. Letting go of the effort aligns you to infinity. But unless you put in the effort, how do you let go? There is some effort to begin with, to become stable. And the benefit is that you relax. It should flow and align you to infinity. It impacts you to overcome the opposites, such as heat and cold, and you cultivate a sense of patience. Does that make sense? Like when you're in asana, sometimes you're comfortable, sometimes you're not all that comfortable, but you go through it all. Yeah? So the reason why Sthira Sukham Asana is because you know that there is some effort required, right? Once you have put in the effort, you let go of the effort. And since you have already undergone both comfort and not so comfortable, you overcome the opposites. Pranayam, breaking flow of inhalation or exhalation, various aspects of inhalation and exhalation, stillness, place or count needs to be done under guide. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is, right? Pranayam, you have a little bit of control over inhalation and exhalation. There is counting involved. But it needs to be done under guidance. Otherwise, you sort of lose, become sort of like a blue star. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. You sort of lose the ability to perceive. Yeah. Sometimes spontaneous pranayam happens, different rhythms of the breath. That is fourth type of pranayam. When mind is serene, away from senses, the veil is thinned. One becomes eligible for dharana, which is focus. And our senses move, that are outside, move inwards. And that's it. Sadhana 12 was about pratyahara. You remember that? Yeah. Moving inwards. Having the say over senses, taste, touch. That's everything, folks. We're ready for Vibhuti Pada. Oh, you have to stop recording.